This video is about a soft starter. I will show you what is a soft starter, what is its function, and what are the main parameters of this altistart 48 made by Schneider. Here you can see a soft starter and a bypass contactor is connected in parallel to this soft starter. This soft starter will start the motor, give it a soft start. After the motor is started normal, then the bypass contactor will energize and soft starter will be out of circuit. Here you can see yellow, green and red wires are the power cables are going to the motor, and in the back side you can see three black cables that are connected to the bypass contactor. So it will start the motor softly. On the upside you can see there are three fuses. Here you can see the white color fuses. These are the quick burn fuses for the protection of this soft starter, and these three cables are coming from the inside the input of the contactor. This is the main contactor. First of all, this main contactor will energize and power will supply to the soft starter. After the soft start, this bypass contactor will energize and motor will run through this bypass contactor. Here you can see three fuses for the all three phases, and this is at the input of this soft starter. Here you can see green terminals for the control cables of this soft starter. This is a control supply and the relays for the logical outputs. There is a logical input for the start and stop, and the analog output which will give the reading of the current in shape of milliamps. We can configure 0 to 20 milliamps or 4 to 20 milliamps as per our requirement. I will show you in the drawing what is the connection of these control cables. So here on the display you can see 105, 106 ampere. These are the ampere running ampere of the motor. So this is the power connection and the control connection. I just gave you an intro. Now with the help of a drawing I will tell you what is the termination of the different cables. Here you can see CL1, CL2. This is the control supply which is 220 volt, and R1A, R1C is a relay which is a fault relay. When the fault will activated, this relay will energize and give us a feedback. R2 is for the starter bypass relay. This relay will start the bypass starter, and R3 is for the motor powered. Here you can see 24 volt is given to the stop command, the run command, and the logical inputs Li3, Li4, Li4. These are the logical inputs. LO plus and LO1 are the logical outputs. LO1 is for the motor thermal alarm. LO2 is for the motor powered feedback. Analog output at AO1 and common. These are 0 to 20 milliamps or 4 to 20 as per configuration. So here you can see with the down button we can go into the parameter and escape, and the enter button to enter a parameter. Here you can see first block of the parameter is setting, second is the PRO. This is the protection parameters. We can configure different protections. DRC are the advanced parameters. So we can go into the advanced parameter setting. IO is the input output block of the parameters, and COP for the communication parameters, and SUP shows the normal running values of different parameters. So normally on the display we can see the current. Now we will go into the setting with the enter button. This IN is for the nominal current, ILT for the limit of the current, ACC is the acceleration, TQ is the initial start torque, STY is the stop control, that how we want to stop the motor. As you can see, the nominal current of the motor is 200 ampere and ILT is the limit of the current, which is 300% at the initial time, and the acceleration time, which we have configured 10 seconds. This is the acceleration time, that motor will accelerate in 10 seconds to the full speed. TQ is the 35%. This is the initial start torque, and the stop control we are using the F, which is mean free wheel stop. Wheel will start moving freely. So these are the main settings, basic settings. Now we will go into the next block, which is the PRO protection. Here THP is the thermal protection, ULL underload protection, and the TLS is the excessive start time, OIL for the activation of current of overload, LOC is the current overload threshold. So these are the different parameters for the protection of the motor. I will tell you one by one, and we will see what is the normal value we have configured for this soft starter. These are the main parameters in this block, which is the protection block. PRO is for the protection parameters. DRC is the advanced parameters. Now I will go into the protection parameter. The THP I told you is the thermal protection, which is we have configured IO as the input output. ULL underload we have made it off, ULL underload. So the TLS is the excessive time for start. If the 20 second it not start, it will give fault. OIL is the activation of current overload. We have activated it because we don't want to motor overload. LOC is 100. This is the current overload threshold, which is 100%. We have configured as 100%. TOL is the 100. Overload time is 10 seconds. Phase reversal, if there is a phase inversion, we have not activated it because there is no chance of that in the running. TBS is the time before starting. This is 2 seconds. And the phase loss, if there is a phase loss, the input or output will be energized. So the PTC, we have not activated the PTC because there is no PTC at the motor. Automatic reset, we have made it off because we don't want to auto reset. And the RTH is the reset for the thermal. So these are the parameters in the protection menu. Now we will go to the next parameter, which is the advanced. In advanced parameters we can do some settings. This DL1, BST, DLT, SST, CLP, LSC, CSC, and the ULN, FRC, RPR, and the so these are the advanced parameters. One by one we will check what we have configured and what is function of this. This is off. TL1 torque limit protection boost voltage boost level is off, and the next parameter SST test with small motor, this is also off. CLP is the torque control, we want to control the torque, so this is on. LSC is IO, this is the start compensation, and CSC is the cascade, we are not using it in cascade. ULN is the line voltage, which is 400 volt. In this case, FRC is the frequency, which we have configured 50 Hz because here frequency is 50 Hz. RP is the off, and factory reset is no because we don't want to go into the factory reset. So these are the advanced parameters that we can configure in this altistart 48 soft starter. Now the next parameter is the IO, which is the input and output menu. Li3, this is the logical input number 3. Li4 logical output 4. LO1 logical output 1 and 2, and R1 is the relay 1. R3 is the relay 3. AO is the analog output. This is the 0 or 4 what we want, and this ASC. So these are the settings of the input and output. Now one by one we will see. This is the Li3 logical input 1, we are using its A contact. Li A we are using, and for the Li4 we are using LIL. For the low we want to use it, and the logical output 1 is for the thermal, we want to use it for the thermal protection. Logical output 1. Logical output 2 is to give us the run feedback that soft starter is running. This R1 is for the fault. R1 we have configured to show us the fault, and R3 for the run. So these are the inputs and the outputs. Here is the analog output, and we are taking the current output from this analog terminal. We can configure it 0 to 20 or 4 to 20, what we want. We are using 4 to 20. So these are the input and output parameters. Now this is the COP communication parameters for this soft starter. If we want to communicate and we want a communication system, then we can configure these parameters. I will show you in detail what we have configured. This is the add, which is address. We are not using any address because we are not using this communication system. This TBR is the communication speed. FOR is the format. 8 and 1 is the format. TLP is the serial link timeout, and the PCT is off, which is remote keypad configuration. So this is the communication. Now SUP is for the normal running values. If we want to see the normal running values, we will go into the SUP and we can check different parameters. These are the different parameters we can check online, that what is the value in this running condition. These are near about 8 to 10 parameters that we can check in the normal running. This is the code if we want to give a code. So I will go inside and I will check what is the setting of these what is the display of these parameters. RNT is 53. This RNT is the operating time, that how much time this is operating in hours. LPR is the active power in percent, which is 50%. LTR is the 52, it is the torque in percent. LAP is the active power in kilowatt. ETA is the running position, where it is running or not. LFT is the last fault, which was the phase loss, and PHE is the phase rotation. Code, if we want to activate the code, we have not activated. This is the power factor cos sine 0.8, and THR is the thermal protection. Thermal percent, that is 27% heated. LCR is the current. So these are the parameters we can check online, that what is the value. So this was the intro about the softstarter. I hope you like the video, and I hope you get some knowledge about the softstarter. Here is the control wiring. This is the supply, power supply of the control. We have jumped this supply, and when any relay will energize, we will get out the output. This is the start command and the stop, and this is the analog output 4 to 20 milliamps output of the current